Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to another live conversation with MHT. Today, we will be discussing the topic parenting during this pandemic. I will be your host for today. I'm Anthea, and to help us discuss this topic, we have a counseling psychologist and the founder of the Letsmile Foundation, Miss Prachi Rathi. Thank you so much for joining us today, Prachi.
It's all my pleasure. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you for inviting me in.
Thank you so much. Yes, so um, right now, everybody is trying to navigate through this whole new world we have kind of been brutally flung into by the pandemic. And so, I mean, everything right now is happening online, like this conversation, for example. But so, to talk in particular about parenting, can you share with us some major issues that are being faced by parents right now?
Mm. Absolutely. As you mentioned, that everything is become online right now, and parents are working from home. Majority of them, kids are having online classes, and they are getting a lot of time together to spend, which is on the brighter side if we see. But definitely, there are a lot of issues as well, which people are facing. But before I directly head on to what issues people are facing, I just want, um, if parents are listening to this, for them to understand and take in that generally people worry a lot about how their children are not listening to them. So what I would like to tell them is, don't worry if your children never listen to you. Worry because they're always watching you, and most importantly, they're always around you if they feel your vibrations. And now, because this is the pandemic time and you are home, be very careful of your actions, your words, your behavior with them, because they are absorbing everything, they're understanding everything, right from toddlers to teenagers. So
Mm.
that is what I would like to say parents to begin with in the first go. And like you meant, like you asked that what are the issues being faced. I feel the first very prominent issue that parents are facing right now is time management.
Mm.
Managing time with their work, with the household chores, at the same time, being present for the online classes that schools are
Yeah.
conducting for kids. So schools also demand that the parents should be accompanying the child during the online classes, and at the same time having that me time for yourself. So it's a real struggle managing time for parents these days. And yes, it is becoming very difficult, and is adding on to the existing stress levels that they have, which is
Yeah.
maybe finances and other so many stresses that they're having. Add on to that is the time management. So that's the first one that I feel.
Yeah.
The second one that most of the parents who I have interacted with are feeling is, that they're not being productive, they're not being effective in whatever work they are doing. So initially they thought that, yes, oh cool, now they have work from home and they can sort everything out and everything. But as and when I'm talking to them, um, they've been telling me that as much as productive they were while they were, going to office, they are
Mm.
not being able to be that effective and productive at work. And that is causing them some sort of frustration, because obviously you're not reaching your expectations of work, or the level of perfection that you had expected.
Yeah.
So that is adding on to that level of frustration that they had.
Mhm. Yeah.
The next thing that I feel, you know, which has been happening in a lot of homes in the pandemic situation, is increased fights. Fights between parents, fights between parents and kids,
Mm.
um, or grandparents and parents, whatever the household equation is. There has
Yeah.
been a lot of fighting happening in the houses for the smallest of the thing, which previously could have been ignored. But
Yeah.
because the threshold I feel has increased for everyone,
Mhm.
and everyone is just at the point where you say something and that acts as a trigger. So be it children doing something, be it parents among themselves having some argument, some discussion which they don't agree with. um, so definitely there has been a lot of fights that have increased in the households.
Yeah.
um,
I think it's definitely some people think that work from home is more relaxing, but somehow your employers nowadays think that because you're at home, they can contact you at any time. And so it's like
Absolutely.
you're always on the clock, always working. And so parents can tend to get more stressed out. And then that normal time that they would have maybe kept aside for their kids to
Hmm.
like, okay, this is the time we're going to spend quality time together. It's just
Yeah.
everything is all over the place now.
Yes. And I feel what the employers are also, back of the mind thinking is that a lot of traveling time is being saved. So why
Yeah.
not give them work in that time? And
Mhm.
parents, or let's say people who are working from home, have another conception that, okay, I'm saving on my traveling time, which means I can use it either for myself or for my family and
Mhm.
stuff. So that expectation and the difference
Yeah.
between the employers and the employees is causing a lot of, again, friction
Mhm.
between the people out there. So
Yeah.
yes, that has happened, and along with that, again, I feel parents these days, they're playing a lot of roles at
Mhm.
the same time together. So they have to be individuals who they are themselves at this point of time, struggling with their own personal space and everything else. They have to be employees who are present 24 into 7 almost,
Yeah.
for majority of the companies. So and it's all in the four walls, it's in the same space that you have to play the same roles. You also have to be the man or the woman of the house. You have to be the parent, you have to be the husband or the wife, and so many different roles to be played in the same space,
Yeah.
which causes a lot of generally when you go to office, there's this role switch.
Mhm.
You are no longer a parent there, you are no longer a
Yeah.
husband there, so you know exactly, okay, I'm going here, I have to do this, and I come back.
Mhm.
But here, when you're in the same space, that switch in the roles is very difficult. Suddenly you are a parent, and in the next 5 minutes you have to join a call, and then again in the next half an hour you have to be with your wife helping in the kitchen or something. So
Yeah. There's no breather and no space to kind of get ready for the next step of the day.
exactly. And a lot of parents, they've been, a lot of people rather, they've been trying to form a routine, a schedule, and stick
Mhm.
to that, which to a certain extent has helped. But in the long run, it's not, it's still adding up to some sort of stress, some sort of frustration in them. So yes, that is another thing. I think as far as children are concerned, the problems that they are facing, staying at home with this pandemic thing is, number one, I feel boredom is what has kicked
Yeah.
in for kids these days.
Yeah, you have primary school children who are sitting in front of a computer and the teacher is speaking, but all the kids are muted. That whole interactive part of it, the fun part of school, getting to meet your
Yeah.
friends, it's completely cut out.
And it's very new for them, and it's very difficult for them also to understand what exactly is happening. They were used to the smallest of the things. That, let's say, I've been a school counselor for school, and I used to observe kids right from KG to 12. And even when teacher is teaching in the class, they used to just, let's say, play with pencil or throw small paper at each other, and
Yeah.
this used to just add to that fun element of learning while you are there.
Mhm,
And here, when they're sitting in front of the laptop, they have to just be like stiff. You
mhm.
can't do such stuff with people around you, and
Yeah.
specifically now that your parent is sitting next to you.
Yeah, I think that's another thing, right? Not getting space from each other, between parents and children.
Yes, so I feel a lot of boredom has kicked in. Plus, they were used to, lunch break, you can just go out in the grounds and play, and then evenings you can go out and you're playing with your different set of friends. And now suddenly you are restricted to just again the four walls. So
Yeah.
they don't know how much to spend maybe in TV or in a mobile phone or studying, or it's just very frustrating for kids as well right now.
Mhm. Yeah. So, so I think that like we've been talking a lot about all these problems, and parents, I'm sure they can relate to it right now, and they must be thinking, well, how do we make it stop? What are we supposed to do? It seems we feel so limited right now with the
Yes.
situation. So,
Definitely, the options or the things that we can do are very restricted.
mhm,
Definitely for safety, and
yeah.
but in the limited resources, the best that we can do as a psychologist that I've been suggesting people, and throughout the pandemic, I did get a lot of calls from parents and from children specifically who are, in class 9, 10, 11, 12. That, oh, my parents are just hovering around me all the time. They're saying it's your boards, but they don't realize it's also the last few years of my school, and I'm not getting to be with my friends or
Yeah.
make the most of it, and it's very frustrating. So a lot has been going on, but yes, there are few things which can be done, at least more by the parents, to ensure that things go in a much more calmer way as they have, as compared to what it has been going. So maybe, the first thing that parents can do is, if they're having small kids at home, um, so they need to talk to them about the pandemic, they need to talk to them about the disease. A lot of times when I was handling cases, and I asked them, okay, so let's say the kid is 5-year-old or 6-year-old, and I asked them that, have you spoken to them about, what is this COVID-19 and what is happening? I said, no, 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 we don't talk about it, we don't want to even mention the name at our home. Anyways, this person is a kid, what will he understand, what will she understand, we don't talk. And it's so difficult for us to make them understand that your kids are still interacting, be it online, be it, however,
Mhm.
and they get to hear when you guys talk. So half information is what they're receiving, which is not good for them, because it is making them more confused, more
Yeah.
curious.
Mhm.
And that is not good for them, because they're not understanding why things are happening. They don't have a reason. the,
Mhm.
the only thing that you guys are saying them, no, 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 don't go out, no, you can't go here, no, school is off, without giving them reasons.
Mhm.
So yes, you cannot obviously talk to them in details, and in a very scientific way
Yeah.
about COVID-19, but you can explain them in a form of story, in a form of, some poem or some animated. A lot of, YouTube videos have these animated cartoon sort of a stuff now. We can show them and talk to them, sit down with them and explain them why this is happening, what is the change that is happening in the world, and see the difference, see the magic, how cooperative they will become,
Mhm.
how much they will have that understanding that, okay, why is my father or mother suddenly working from home, not going to office, why am I not going to school? So it's very important to talk to your children about it, and
Yeah.
whatever queries they have, sort it out in a nicer way, in a storytelling form or whichever form that you connect with.
Yeah. I
The
think especially for younger kids, they're so eager to go to school, and they
Yeah,
must be like really like it must be really upsetting because I remember even when I was very small before I started school, my I would see my older sister go, and I would get so upset that my mom wouldn't let me go with her. So she had to take me for a walk with a tiffin and a bag around the block just to, because kids they look forward to that so much. They hear about it, school, you get to play with your
absolutely.
friends. And right now it would be very helpful for them to understand that okay, maybe this is not permanent. And
Absolutely. They need to know that it's a temporary change that has come in their lives, because a lot of kids are becoming hopeless. and they've been asking questions even to me in sessions that, ma'am, is this going to be forever? Will I never go to school? Will I only see my teacher? Like Teachers' Day just went by, right?
Yeah.
So, or Children's Day just went by, and they had some online celebrations, and they were like, oh, is this how we are going to celebrate from now on?
Mhm.
I want I made a card for my teacher, but I could not give that card to my teacher. So
Yeah.
they, until and unless you give them that hope that this is temporary change, in the life, and maybe next year, whenever it is, it will change, and you will once again go back to school, meet your friends, meet your teachers, and
Mhm.
have more fun that had now. So
Yeah.
that will give them hope, and they look forward to it, which is very, very important.
Mhm. So besides, I mean, obviously it being boring and frustrating, what are the other side effects that these online classes can have on children?
Yeah, before I move on to that, just I wanted to add a few more
Yes, of
points to
course.
the fact that what could be done to make
Mhm.
things better is, I also feel, you know s- uh, parents specifically, what they need to do is they need to set out uh, time, a one-on-one time with their kids also, which is going to help a lot. So as much as work you have, as much as household chores you have to do and everything, let your kids know that, let's say, evening 5 to 6 I'm there with you, or 9 to 10 at night I'm there with you, or morning this time, so that kids also know that yes, they might not have their friends at this point of time, but they have their parents for an assured hour,
Yeah.
that and they will look forward to it, trust me. So you can, sit down and paint with them, draw, play something, whatever it is, but it will be a designated hour in the day that they will look forward to.
Yeah.
And as a parent, something that you would have also, missed, and that guilt that, oh, maybe I'm not able to spend time with my children or family, will not be there.
Mm.
So it is going to be a good family bonding time, wherein you know that as much as calls are there, you can still push it for 1 hour and be there with your family. So
Mm.
that's something which is doable.
Mhm.
People are making schedules, so yes, making schedules also help. And you know, there engage your kids, engage your partner, or whoever, the people in the house, in anything and everything that you're doing besides your obviously professional work, and let them be with you, because these will be the only times that you'll be spending together. So let's say, if you're washing the dishes, call in your kids. They might not wash the dishes, but they can just sit around and wipe them maybe, or dry them, or you can just keep telling them a story while you're doing that. um, or if you're doing any other household chores, include them in it. Don't say, oh, no, no, this person is a kid, no, no, let's not give them work, we'll not do child labor or something. It's not child labor, it's just one, teaching your kids that no job is less. You
Mm.
can be a part of anything and everything. uh, Helping them understand that it's important, household work is also important, and also a time where you connect with them.
Mm.
So definitely, include them in activities that they can be a part of. I
Yeah.
think these few small little tips, but very, very helpful in bringing about an everyday change in your life,
Yeah.
can be done.
And I think, especially for older kids, like taking part in the housework can teach, like, give them time to spend with you and also teach them that sense of responsibility.
Absolutely.
The whole family kind of comes together to become a well oiled machine. Everybody has their roles.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, what about the social aspect of it? So, as we talked about, children can't go and socialize with their friends. So that's an important part of growing up that they're now, that they can't have right now. So how can parents maybe um, make up for that?
Like I said in my previous answer, that setting out that one-on-one time is
Mhm.
one of the ways in which you can, um, spend some quality time with your family. That is one way. And two, what I feel somewhere, which a lot of people are doing right now, but can be modified, is definitely, there's stress, and I understand all of that. And sometimes you get angry, and because of anger, what you do is you cut yourself off. You don't want to talk to anyone in the house. Just for a day or two, you're just off,
Mm-hmm.
without realizing that a lot could be done in those 2 days with your family. So maybe effective communication with each member in the house is something that needs to be practiced by, again, each member of the house. So, be it a mother, be it a father, they need to be communicating effectively with each other, with their children, as to what is going on in in their minds, and uh, are they angry? Why were they angry?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe apologize if they said something wrong. But communicate, don't just isolate yourself, because isolation is already happening outside. So inside, please don't isolate yourself. It's anyways of four walls. Don't isolate yourself.
Yeah, that's true. So, um, when when we talk about focusing on communication skills for younger kids, are there any maybe activities or games that a parent can maybe play with them to help them understand that?
Yes, there are. There are a lot of sensory games, sensory playing games that parents can use to communicate with kids. Um, so let's say, using sand,
Mhm.
uh, if you have that, or um, paint. You can just stick paper on the floor and give them some paint, and dip your hands in the paint, and make them do something. That can also be a way of communications. A lot of in the market also, a lot of sensory play toys are available. So let's say textured balloons are there, or um, linking chains.
Mhm.
What, I forgot the name, Legos or something of that sort
Yeah,
that you call. Yeah,
building blocks.
yeah, building blocks
Yes.
and all of that. So, or maybe let's say just cleaning the toys that you have for your. So if you have a doll, if you have some doctor set or whatever it is, asking them to clean the toys or of their own. So a lot of games can be played with the kids, like the younger kids, um, to help them also talk and express what they're feeling,
Mhm.
um, along with you being able to communicate it to them as to what you are thinking or you are expecting of them.
Yeah. So, as we talked about, it's a very stressful situation for parents, especially that the whole want to maybe go outside, but then they have to more about more than thinking about themselves, they need to be good examples, as you said, for their kids, and they have to keep everybody safe.
Mhm.
So, what indoor activities or some anything would you suggest to parents to kind of give them that space and reduce their stress?
Um, Sports,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, is a very, very effective method to begin with. Now, obviously, outdoor sports is something which is not possible unless you have your own space of that sort. But a lot of indoor games is something which is possible. Um, and not just for the pandemic, I feel overall also, I support indoor games a lot as a family activity,
Mm-hmm.
that they can do. If not a family activity, if parents are not able to dedicate that time, then maybe kids alone, they can find out something instead of playing games on phone, because we all know the effects of games, which I don't want to name, but then we have seen how kids have become addicted to it, and there are so many consequences to that, right from
Yeah.
obesity to lack of focus and concentration and everything else. So instead of just giving them a phone that, okay, you stay busy and let me work, instead of doing that, maybe giving them more of board games, or stuff like Ludo, Carom,
Yeah.
Chinese checker, the Pebbles game that we had, or giving them puzzles to solve, riddles to solve. Um, a lot of these things can keep the kids occupied and let their energy out in the right way, rather than just being hooked on to a screen again besides their online classes.
Mhm.
um, so yes, that is one of the ways. Putting them into some sort of yoga as a routine, or
Yeah.
some sort of exercise, if your kids are already into, let's say, martial arts or something of that sort. So encouraging them that maybe you're not able to go out to your classes to practice, but you can do that at home. Or if they are already into some sort of yoga, so ensuring that they do 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever time for their yoga. Or if they are into music, so again, music is something which is very, very therapeutic
Yeah.
and helps them release their energy in the right way. So these things I feel can be done indoor. At the same time, you'll keep hearing me saying storytelling a lot, because I feel that works really well with kids.
Yeah.
um, but yes, I feel also giving them the chance to become storytellers is a very good activity to engage in. So not just being storytellers for them, but also just giving them a topic. Tell me some, create some sort of story around this. What if you were in this situation, what would happen? So let them create their story,
Yeah.
either through paintings, in the form of paintings, or through verbal, whatever they are comfortable with. And then see the magic, see
Mhm.
their visualization skills, and how creative they can be, how imaginative they can be. And
Mhm.
it also helps them speak out. So it's a lot of verbal practice for them also, communication skills practice. So it has a lot of advantages. um, so yeah, these small things are something that can be done. But uh, so I am associated with one of these parent groups as well,
Yeah.
where we came up with a very nice concept of having one parent volunteering to teach something to the kids on an everyday basis, or at least on a weekend basis, as per their availability. So let's say, um, you know besides their online classes and everything, one parent taking up the role that, okay, I am good at playing tabla. So if I whoever is interested, I can dedicate my 1 hour to teaching the kids how to play tabla. Or let's say one parent was very good at chanting shlokas, so all the Sanskrit shlokas. So the kids were learning in the pandemic a lot of Sanskrit shlokas, and they were very enthusiastic about it, because they were like, oh, this is a different language and the way you pronounce it is very different. um, so a lot of parent groups were coming up, who were willing to volunteer. Instead of one parent teaching everything to their child, it
Mhm.
is different parents with their own skill sets coming in together and volunteering to teach whatever they know the best.
Yeah.
So one father, I remember, he volunteered to teach kids non-gas cooking. That,
Oh, wow.
whatever
Yeah.
you want to make, like all with cheese and jellies and jam and all of this.
I think a
And kids
lot of
were,
kids love being in the kitchen. They love getting their
yeah.
hands into it.
So it was a lot of fun, because when it comes to one parent doing so many roles and responsibilities to take care and ensure that your kids are learning it, it's too much. But when the responsibility is shared among that group, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel that heavy.
Mhm.
So that's an advantage, and that's a very doable thing that I saw a lot of parent groups doing, and successfully uh, doing it, because the kids were really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Plus,
And
kids get bored from one parent, trust me. So when they get to see other parents,
yeah.
and they come back and say, oh, this person's mom is so cool, or this person's dad is so cool. So it's fun then.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a good way to socialize, especially between the children themselves. If they're learning a new skill together, I'm sure they'll keep asking, okay, how much did you learn? Do you
Yes.
like this? I like this more than that. And gives them new grounds to communicate with each other.
Absolutely. And there was this one parent who taught them how to make hopscotch, their individualized hopscotch. And generally, otherwise what parents were doing is you just order it online or something and it will come, and then 2 days the kids will play, but after that they'll just get bored
Yeah.
with it. But this parent, he taught them how to create your own hopscotch and how you can keep increasing your levels of difficulty. So specifically, I remember from the age group of 8 to 10 years to 13, 14 years, kids loved it. Every weekend they used to come and they used to say, oh, my level of difficulty is here, or I can do this now, or I'm doing this. And it was very exciting for the parent also to see, okay, they've really taken it one step up from his expectation.
Mhm. And that's so brilliant. And it's lovely to see parents supporting other parents and
Yes.
just building that community. Absolutely. It's beautiful during something like this pandemic that, something good can come out of it. That's
I think pandemic did bring in this concept of parenting groups, which is the plus side, if we can say.
yeah, definitely. May I ask you, do you have kids of your own, ma'am?
I am not married yet.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Do I look that old?
No, but you just have this very child friendly charm, I would say. Like, I can tell that you probably get along with kids very well.
Oh, yes, I love kids. And like I said, being as a school counselor, worked in two different schools, and then I have a lot of kids in and around my family, and I try whatever I've learned, whatever I've understood, and, to learn more from these kids so that it helps me grow also as a person. And if I can contribute in helping them grow in their lives in some way, why not?
Yeah. So, before we wrap up this conversation, is there any message you would like to impart to our viewers?
Absolutely. I want to quote Sadhguru here. So, this is specifically again for parents. Um, if you want to raise your children, raise yourself first. And I feel he's put it up very aptly out there that, like I said in the beginning of my conversation, that your children are observing you. So if you raise yourself, your children will also raise automatically. And this is also something that I want to say, parents, it's okay if you're making mistakes as a parent. Understand you were not born as parents. You didn't go to any school which teaches you parenting per se. It's also an ongoing journey where you will learn a lot of things. You might have to unlearn a lot of things that your parents would have done, and it did not help you. So it's a process of a lot of unlearning, learning, and making mistakes, everything. But as parents, you just need to be open to this.
Mm,
I see a lot of parents who have a lot of you know rigidity or fixed mindset, that, and specifically, like you said, that, like you asked me, that do you have kids of your own, and I keep getting this question from parents as well, that do you have kids, and I say no. Oh, so then how would you understand? Who are you to lecture us? We know, we are parents, and we know how difficult it is to raise kids and everything. Surely, yes, you are going through it, but then you also you need to understand as parents that you can't be it all.
mhm,
You still need to be open to learning, and every child is different.
mm,
What you were as a child, not necessarily your child is just going to be the same way. So
mm,
when you compare your child, saying that, I used to be like this, and my parents treated me this way, and you expect you also to be the same way with your child, not going to work.
yeah,
So just being open to the fact that you might make mistakes as a parent,
mm,
but you can also apologize to your kids and then see
mhm,
them welcome you back in their lives. And I
mm,
feel that is what is going to build the foundation of your relationship with your children very, very strong, because when they grow up, they would see that yes, my parents Maybe, their intentions were always correct, but somewhere maybe their action was not the best. But they apologized, and we worked it out, and we are here today as to who we are. So it is also going to help them when they grow up. So
Definitely true. A lot of the time, parents feel that pressure like, oh, I have to be perfect.
yeah.
But if you look at your child, they're just so happy to be with you and to feel that love. Like anything that you can offer to them, they'll happily take it from you.
Absolutely. And most of the times, either parents are, in their ego state that, oh, I know what to do with my child, or they feel guilty that I don't know what to do with my child. I just cannot handle my children. So it's because of the fact that you either feel too incompetent as a parent, or you feel you've achieved everything as a parent. But it's a journey. It's a journey where you are also learning and you are understanding your kid, because your kid is also changing every single day.
Mhm.
So just being, or having a very open mindset, seeking professional help as and when required is again something that I always emphasize to parents, that um, do not diagnose your kids. A lot of times when parents bring them to me, I see they keep using the word, oh, I'm sure this person has ADHD, he's very hyperactive, I'm sure isko dyslexia hai, and something of that sort. And I'm like, please, don't diagnose, don't label, don't tag your kids with something which can be a very intense thing.
Mhm.
Take professional help. We have clinical psychologists, we have mental health professionals, counselors to do that job. Let them understand, let them do their job and see what is the problem with your kid. And based on that, they will be able to help you and your kid out. So do not have tags and labels for your kids already in mind. And um yeah, just as much as kids are observant of your behavior, just be observant of their behavior, and I'm sure you guys can have a great time together.
Yeah. I think that parents spend so much time thinking of their kids as just kids, but the moment on both sides, even children, like the moment you realize that your children are people, they're just people like you, or you realize that your parents are just people like you, can really strengthen that bond so much more.
And one very small thing that can be done on an everyday basis from the end of parents, specifically now because it's pandemic and they're home and can help them improve their bond with their kids, is uh, when you're putting your child to bed, just give them one hug or a kiss on their forehead and put them to bed. Or when they're waking up, be with them for 2 minutes and just give them a morning hug or a kiss on their forehead. And you will see the magic. This is what they would crave for.
Mhm.
Otherwise, in your everyday routine, maybe you have office, you might have left early, or your child sleeps and then you come back from office. The small thing is not possible. But now that you're home and it's pandemic, why not?
Yeah, that affection, it can have the most, like the biggest effect on a kid.
And that's a memory that your child is going to take for a lifetime. That
Yeah,
might be the sweetest memory for them.
at least, yeah, at least that you are one person right now who can hug them in a time where we are craving hugs so badly and we're
Yes,
so touch hungry. It would be the most amazing thing for a child.
absolutely.
Definitely. This has been such a great conversation to have. I think that it can give us all a little hope and deal with this, not so great situation in a more positive way and just try to give ourselves and give the children in our lives hope as well. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. And
Thank you. It was my pleasure being a part of this, and I really hope this conversation would reach the right audience and they would try to take in as much as possible and make a difference in their lives. if that is done, my job is done.
Yes, of course. So, for our viewers, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we have a special coupon code applicable just for today, which is MHT Parenting. And if you apply it in the store, you get an additional 5% off on all our products. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Okay.